to get going. Gotta catch those runners taking off like a Boeing. If the volume spikes, then it's time to trade. Mighty 90 setting up, it's time to get paid. Dr. Chad on the mic, time to get focused. We don't need any indicator, hocus pocus. It's all about the price, just watch it move. Manage your risks so you don't lose. First hour of trading is all we need. Focus on the patience and forget about greed.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to today's day trading live stream. It is Friday, March 21st. Got a little red coming in this morning. S&P down 57, NASDAQ down 238, Russell down 26, Dow down 390. All around 1% or higher in the red. Gold and silver are both red. Notes and bonds green. 10-year yield down a little over 0.5%. Oil down 1/4, natty gas up 0.75%, soybeans a little bit red, wheat a little bit green, corn a little bit red, euro and the pound both down slightly, and Bitcoin is down about 0.75%. VIX popping up a little bit, plus 6.7% at the freeze, sitting at 21.14. So my thought today is just kind of zooming out and taking an overall look at the market, and kind of what I see is, let me bring my daily chart of the S&P futures up here. So we've been in this, I mean, we're talking 57.70 to 56, so 100 and call it 110, 120 point range here for the last several days. All week, basically. Yeah, I mean, this is Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So we're right here at the bottom end of this range. So I could see two different scenarios playing out very easily. I could see us kind of continuing down and, potentially hitting new lows at some point next week. Or I could see us, flushing the lows of this consolidation area and bouncing and using that as kind of a little bit of a liquidity sweep, a little bit of a stop hunt. So just I don't have a bias really from a perspective of a long bias or short bias. I'm really just kind of going into today. Gonna be watching price action, probably be a little bit more patient this morning and try to find some opportunities. Today is option expiration day, which is completely irrelevant and has been for a better part of a decade, probably, even though some people still think there's something to watch out for on option expiration for some reason. But yes, today is option expiration. Got the opening bell in 3 seconds. I will be putting on a 1 DTE, or technically a 3 DTE with Monday options. SPX has an expected move for the day of about 50.5 compared to 48.3 yesterday. Getting those marked on my charts. NDX has an expected move. Oh, I don't have the 0-day NDX options because it's option expiration. So I assume it's going to be a little bit higher than yesterday, just like SPX. Yesterday was I have 214 points. I'm just going to put 230 in there just to have a kind of a basic range on NDX. My 6/7 put calendar just fired. Get that posted. Right. Tesla is making a little move above yesterday's highs, up 1.5%. I mean, there's very few green stocks on my list pre-market. Now we've got still just a handful: SMCI and Tesla and Meta. A couple other little junky stocks. Meta trying to go green. Yeah, SMCI was kind of chopping around unchanged or just positive all pre-market. Now it's pushing higher. Got a few little guys trying to get strong. S&P is coming down. NASDAQ coming down a little bit. MU is coming down. I've got that broken wing earnings, broken wing put fly. That's looking good. Everybody thought that trade was dead after MU gapped up after the close. No faith. Why did Steve go short MU? Why did he do that? Yeah, of course I got lucky. Meta staying green. Tesla up 2%. Oh, my one DTE just fired. Give me a second. All right, posted my one DTE. All right, so on MU, let's see here. How many? I did 3. I mean, it's pretty much centered there under the peak. I'm going to take 2 of these off. I'll let one, see if one can marinate for a little, squeeze a little more out. All right, it's working at $4.25. No fill yet. I'll let it sit there. All right. All right, Meta dropping back in the red. Didn't hold. Coinbase is weak. Bitcoin's down 1%. Baba's still down 1%. Had a nice push that first 5 minutes. Tesla, a little bit of a pause, but still above yesterday's close. S&P, NASDAQ, weak. Trading the 7-day options today. Watching Tesla, that yesterday's high lines up exactly with the pre-market high here. It's the strongest stock on the board by far. I'm not sure I'm going to get an entry here by taking an early runner off of pre-market high. Could work very well. The market, the indices bounce, Tesla could take off here. Oh, MU filled. I mean, the whole reason I took a short in MU because I had a bearish bias on the overall market, and I thought if the market continued lower, then MU would too. So that's kind of always the bias that I take with those, or typically, unless there's something different going on with the stock, I always just kind of look at it from a whatever my overall bias is with the market for the next day or two. MU wanted to go higher, gapped up, but couldn't hold this flush that the market had in store. At Nasdaq's down 1.2%, Russell's down 1.3. Tesla's still holding. Indices aren't really moving. Came down. I've just been sitting there the last few minutes. A lot of stocks flushing yesterday's lows. Let's see if they're hunting some stops and if we get a big rip, or if this is just a little. See if this last week's been just a little dead cat bounce for some lower prices. All right, Tesla coming down. I'm looking at the 245 call. Oh, I missed it. Damn it. I was gonna say I'm looking at the 245 calls in Tesla, and it bounced right away. Just trying to get an entry down here at the yesterday's high. See how quickly it popped. One of the indices did. Quite a few actually did. Microsoft has been all up after gapping down. Baba made that push above its pre-market highs, holding. It's still in the red though. Yeah, if I would have had my order sitting there in Tesla, it'd be working, but it wasn't quick enough. BA, I took BA off my board, but let's see what it's doing. Oh yeah, Boeing's up almost 1%. Couple big pushes already. Apple trying to go green. Yeah, MSTR a little bounce, coin a little bounce, Bitcoin. Excuse me, Bitcoin. A little bit of a bounce. Yep, Tesla taking off without me. Bob up, another high. Got to catch those runners taking off like a Boeing. SMCI bouncing, staying green, pushing up to highs, up above pre-market highs. MU, not much of a bounce, staying nice and weak down there in the middle of that fly. Nothing even came close on a volume perspective. A lot of tiny volume on the second, third bar compared to the first in everything. Except Baidu, but I don't trust that volume in Baidu. It's always a little wacky. Roblox, is that even tradable these days? RBLX. Yeah, that's not tradable. 30 cents wide on a $59 stock. I wouldn't be trading that. I'd take that off your board. Meta just chopping around unchanged. Tesla, a little pullback. Boeing still going. Tesla is acting like it's going to make me regret my Slow execution. It's looking strong. SMCI is interesting. It's definitely the strongest of the chips. Trying to hold above its pre-market high. I'd be looking at the 41 calls in SMCI. Let's see what it does. It's got a couple more minutes here on this bar. Let's see what this bar does. S&P and NASDAQ just kind of chopping. PLTR is pushing. MSTR is trying to go green. Meta staying green. All right, I'm going to get an SMCI here. 41 calls in SMCI. Filled at $1.57. So pre-market high is kind of my line in the sand here. I'll put this one. Let's take off. We'll take off coin for now. Pre-market high in SMCI, so I want it to hold above that. So on a relative strength basis, SMCI is up 2%. One of the strongest stocks on the board and definitely the strongest semiconductor related stock. SMH is weak today. I mean, it's down almost 2%, but trying to bounce a little bit. NASDAQ poking above its first 5-minute bar range. Tesla's still staying strong. Hood has been strong since it opened right at yesterday's low, and it's been pretty much all up. Same with MSTR. Need this market to get some legs. We need the S&P and the NASDAQ up over yesterday's lows. SMCI dipping down a little bit. Meta trying to push above its pre-market highs. I'd be interested in Meta too if it holds above that pre-market high level, 588, 50, 588, 60 level. Apple is getting close to going green. So is Amazon. PLTR just went green. Boeing still moving higher. Nvidia popping up above its yesterday's low. Be back in just a minute. S&P and NASDAQ dipping a little bit. Want to see SMCI hold here. The market's the market's dip. Meta could not hold its pre-market high. Hey, Bruce, I noticed every time you're on the live stream, you have your video going, and I have to manually stop it. So if you wouldn't mind, if you could make sure that your camera or your video is off on the streams, would appreciate that. The problem is during the recording, it displays all the like the thumbnail of the profiles of people who are on here is the issue. So thank you. Netflix staying green. SMCI holding, getting a little bounce back in the indices. Tesla popping up. And I got my fill right around, actually a little bit higher in SMCI, so I'm still not green. I thought it was going to pop, so I kind of chased it a little bit. Yeah, you're good, LBS. Thank you. Boeing, another leg higher. Woo. Taking off like a Boeing. PLTR holding positive territory. SMCI is just chopping. A little chop before a rip. Nvidia chopping around yesterday's lows. Market's really choppy. One DTE is already at 5%. 6, 7 put calendars green. NASDAQ looked like it's trying to break out of its first 15-minute range. S&P is still super choppy, still within its first 5-minute range. Meta's holding pretty well. Apple trying to go green. Amazon still just below its yesterday's close. SMCI is still holding. Meta pushing through highs. Apple going green. Robinhood still pushing higher. Reddit, big push up with volume. Reddit's a little sketchy for trading. 7-day options, yeah. 70 cents wide. I wouldn't, no need to mess with that. I'll probably take that off my board. So PLTR push green is kind of pulling back to unchanged right now, which is in line with the pre-market high as well. I'm going to take a long in PLTR potentially here. I'm going to give it a minute here. As if this market flushes, I don't think it's going to hold. SMCI trying to bounce back up. Tesla now pulling back. Meta holding. All right. I like the way PLTR is kind of holding up on this little dip, but I'm going to give it to the end of this bar. It's got a few more minutes. If I trade PLTR, I'd be looking at the 89 calls. SMCI just chopping. Decent reversal in Tesla here. I always go a little out of the money on 7 DTE. Whereas if I'm trading like 1 DTE, I'll go closer to, like if I was trading the PLTR 0 DTE, I would choose the 87. But with the 7 DTE, your time decay is so much less that you can go a little bit out of the money. Just watching how PLTR reacts here as the market's kind of dipping a little bit. It's holding. Same with Meta. Meta looks like it may want to make another leg up. Yeah, you get a little cheaper, and then if those options go from out of the money to in the money, that's where you get some of your kind of your best bang for your buck too. That's slow here. Meta popping. Oh, SMCI popped. I don't even have a profit target in there yet because I was waiting to see how these things moved. Plus, I've had a little bit of decay and not a great fill, so I'm just now even. I'll put a profit target at $1.75 in SMCI. It's going to have to move more. Apple tried to go, went green a little bit, but it's back in the red. Amazon has tried to go green, but has not been able to push through yet. S&P coming back down to the lower end of its range. NASDAQ is holding up better, kind of at the top end of its range. Yeah, Boeing had a really big pullback. Robinhood's been all up since the open. SMCI trying to move for us. Good relative strength. Market's dipping, SMCI is pushing. I like that. I would have gotten a better fill. I would probably already be hitting my first profit target. I'm going to lower that. I'm going to lower my profit target to $1.70 in SMCI. Try to take some chips off the table if it can push up a little bit more. All right, so PLTR couldn't hold. Meta is still holding for now. Google's bouncing. Kind of made that initial push, little pullback to yesterday's open. Now it's bounced back up to highs of day with some pretty good momentum with the market just kind of sitting here. I do not like the daily chart on Meta for long here, though. It's that big reversal yesterday. Just looks like it's screaming for continuation lower today. Amazon going green. Tesla falling apart. Poor Tesla. I just can't get any legs under it. Meta couldn't hold. Amazon couldn't stay green. Google couldn't hold above highs of day. SMCI staying strong. That is the good news. See if Meta can stay green here. S&P at lows of day. NASDAQ still at the higher end of its range. Both are down exactly 1% from yesterday's close. Amazon trying to pop up, go green. Let's see what the daily of Amazon looks like. And pretty big reversal, like kind of like Meta yesterday. SMCI is up almost 3%. Another little push up. They hit my profit target above that previous bar's high. Yeah, S&P definitely looks heavy. Did not muster up much of a rally on that bounce. Boeing all the way back to unchanged. Meta back to unchanged. Amazon back in the red. Tesla all the way back down to yesterday's high. S&P breaking through lows of day. SMCI is now coming down. SMCI's little dips getting bought up quickly. It wants to go higher. It's just looking for the green light from the market. Put me in, coach. Give me the green light. I'm ready to run. Meta holding green. All right. I like that. I like that dip getting bought up in SMCI quickly. S&P kind of flushed its lows and it bounced. Some of these stronger stocks popping up, perking up on that little bounce. MU staying weak right around that 95 level. I'm going to put an order in for my last MU fly at $5. So if price comes down a little bit more, it should hit that. SMCI should be hitting. Hit it. And I ordered $1.70. It's a little above $1.66. Hit it. Come on. You can do it. Meta staying green. Amazon, nice push into green territory. Hood, little dip and bounce. AVGO's taking off. Let's get some legs here. Boeing hit unchanged and then bounced. All right, there's SMCI, hit $1.70. Closed a little over half. Try to get out of some more at yesterday's high, so I'm going to put my profit target at $1.85. Let's see where that lines up theoretically. Yeah, $1.85. I'll take some more off if it makes a push up towards yesterday's high. No bounce out of Tesla. Tesla's dead. DOA on the day. LTR still dipping. It didn't hold. S&P still at the bottom of that weekly chop range we've been in. Obviously, it hasn't done anything today yet. Love those Friday 1 DTEs, man. That decay is so fast. Mine's already up 16%. Chad, with your wider one, you're probably up 20. You probably already hit first profit target on yours. My 6-7 put calendars are already up 9%. All right, what are we gonna do here, boys? Good. It's holding above its pre-market highs here. My exit condition for the 6-7 is to squeeze as much profit out as possible before the end of the day. Getting some bounces out of Baidu and Baba. Taiwan Semiconductor, AVGO just went red or just went green. Yeah, no, honestly, Dark Avenger, really, my bot has a 50% profit target, which has hit before. But, if I get up, let's say, a lot of times when you see this profit coming in early, it really continues to come in throughout the day. So I'm in no hurry to take that off. I may trim some at 30%, but I'd like to keep as long as price action doesn't go crazy. I'd like to hold it pretty much till the end of the day. Amazon coming back down to unchanged. Apple could never get back in the green. Meta's holding up really well here. SMCI needs to make another leg higher. I like Apple here on the 5-minute chart. I hate the daily chart. So if I were to do something long in Meta, I would it would be a quicker one. I'd be taking profits quicker. So what I would really want to see is I would want to see, for example, the market to dip, but Meta hold here to take a long in Meta. See if we can get a quick pop higher when the market bounces. I'm also watching Hood. It looks like it wants to break out. It's holding above its pre-market highs. I'm gonna do a 0 DTE in Hood using the 43 calls. 43 calls in Hood. Filled at 74 cents. So the reason I'm doing 0 DTE here is it just if this market's starting to look like it wants to bounce and Hood's been strong all morning, if it can make a quick pop, those 0 DTE options will pay quickly. Oh, there goes Meta. Meta back up to highs. But whereas I'm using like $4,000 of buying power on the 7 DTE, on the 0 DTE, I'm only using around 1,000. I'm essentially position sizing for those to go to 0 as my max risk, which I wouldn't let happen, but there goes Meta. There goes Hood. All right, so I'm going to put an order in Hood at 95 cents as my first profit target. See if it can make a quick push up to around unchanged. Yeah, Meta. Nice move in Meta. SMCI popping back up. Let's go, Hood. Quick pop. Pop, pop. NVIDIA coming to life. Tesla, little bounce. Amazon stayed green through highs. So on Fridays, that's what I'll do. If I see something that I think has a good chance of making a fast move, that's when I'll consider doing 0 DTE like Hood. I mean, it made a quick pop, but not quite enough. Nope. Dipping back below highs of the day. S&P kind of back to a little above mid-range of the day. Nasdaq's breaking out a little bit to the upside. It's above yesterday's low now. No, it didn't follow through here yet. You get super quick decay on these 0-day options too, so it's not something you want to sit in all day. I'll give it another 10 minutes maybe. The other thing to think about here is like, I mean, Hood's still red on the day, right? S&P, Nasdaq still very red on the day. So yes, I mean, some of these stocks have some good relative strength compared to the market, but this is still not a day when you want to size up for longs by any mean. I mean, this market could easily, I mean, the S&P could easily push up to yesterday's low and then just fall apart, right? I mean, obviously the market can do anything at any time, but it's definitely not a day to be sizing up on longs. Just taking quicker trades here. Man, I was really looking for hood to pop faster, a little bit bigger than that. Meta looks like it would have been the better choice. Tesla trying to bounce back a little bit. S&P, NASDAQ pausing, hood pausing. Bitcoin is back to unchanged after being red earlier. Almost unchanged. All right, Hood. You're on the clock. You are on the clock. ELTR tried to go green again, getting shut down. Google still kind of trying to creep up to yesterday's close. Meta had that pop. It's pulling back. Nvidia back below yesterday's low. SMCI still waiting for another leg up. Hood still looks like it wants to go. It's still holding its pre-market high. S&P, NASDAQ still dipping a little bit. I'm going to add a little bit to hood here. Added some at 80 cents. Same strike. Holding well. The market just barely looked like it wanted to bounce, and hood was bouncing a little bit more. Let's see if we can get some momentum for a quick pop. All right, there we go. Hit it, hood. Hit it. Got my first profit target at 95 cents. It's poking up to unchanged right now. It's got to push through. Amazon trying to stay green. Need S&P through highs of day. Quick push. Lift everybody up. Nasdaq's acting price action much stronger than the S&P since the open. SMCI trying to bounce back up. Tesla bouncing off of yesterday's high again. We need hood just to push through into positive territory here. Should hit. AVGO, little pullback into red territory. Baidu trying to get above yesterday's low. Netflix pushing through highs. SMCI trying to make another leg up. My profit target's kind of moved in SMCI because of some premium decay. When I first put it in, it would be right here at yesterday's high. I'm gonna adjust my SMCI here. What did I get out of my last ones at 170? Right here. I'm gonna move it down to 180. Paused at yesterday's high. It just couldn't push through yet. Just need a little pop. Little poppy pop. All right, SMCI trying to hit. S&P, NASDAQ just sideways. Hood still holding up well, but need another leg up quickly. Somebody tell Hood we're in the 0-day options. We need a quick move. Tesla still up 1.5%. Amazon back in the red. Oh, my MU butterfly hit $5. It must have come back down. Yep. Pull back in Hood. Not what I was looking for, Hood. Not what I was looking for. Just it, I mean, it ticked into positive territory and couldn't hold. That's not a good sign. We'll give it a minute. And I mean, it's still holding pre-market highs, so I'm not going to cut it yet. But if anyone took that with the 0-day options like I did on the 43 strike, you can see how quickly those move. I mean, I'm down $200, so it's not, crazy. My max loss is 1,000. But you can see how just quickly that P&L swings on 0-day options. So that's why, I really want to try to get in something that I anticipate is going to move quickly. Had started to, but just couldn't push through. Let's see if it's got another leg up. All right, so getting a little bounce in the S&P and NASDAQ, SMCI. I'm gonna close out the rest of my SMCI here. Built at $1.67. So out of SMCI. Hood needs to hold here. Otherwise, I'm going to cut it. Amazon getting weak. This is not looking good. I'm going to get out of hood. I usually wait for that bar to close below that level, but closed hood at 60 cents. All right, so I'm out of both. All right, all. That's a wrap. One winner, one loser. Basically break even on the day so far, but I'll continue to watch. We'll see if this market actually shows any type of direction. I mean, S&P is so tight, in such a tight range here. So that's it for the live stream. Everybody have a good rest of your day, and we'll see you in Power Hour. Take care.